How's it going, everyone? It is Drago. Continuing talking about different kind of magics throughout Fairy Tail. We've already talked about holder magic, so now we're going to talk about caster magic. Now this one's going to be very broad because most people in Fairy Tail are basically a caster magic type. So there's going to be a lot of people here, so I just kind of made a condensed list of like what are some of the most popular caster magics, which I do plan to go more in depth on specific magics, like let's say Dragon Slayer in the future. Probably most of caster magics I will somehow get to at some point in time, since there is a lot of them. So first off, what is it? It is magic that is expelled from the body, so like the magic source that's within a person, it like comes out of them. Like for example, Gray, he can make ice from the magic within his body. If you want a really good idea of how to bring out and kind of learn caster magic, a really good example of it is Fairy Tail 0, to where you can see Mavis and the founding members of Fairy Tail learning how to use magic and like produce it from themselves, which pretty much all of them right there do caster magic. So that's a really good example if you want to see that, or go look at Gray's backstory, because that's a good example as well, because he learns magic from Ur. So getting into some actual caster type magic, you have the Slayer magics, which is going to be a big lump of magics here. You have the Dragon Slayers, you have the Demon / Devil Slayers, and you have the God Slayers. Now I will say for caster magics, pretty much all of those have to be given to you. I don't entirely know about God magic. I know at least Dragon and Demon Slayer magic, they have to be almost like given to you. I guess you don't entirely know if you have to be given Demon Slayer / Devil Slayer magic, but that's how Gray got it at least. I don't know how Silver got it, but at least the Dragon one, it has to be given to you by a dragon, which I will say out of the caster magics, those would be the most rare people and most probably powerful of the caster magics. I don't know if you've seen Natsu, but he's pretty insane. Which even within these Slayer type magics, you got a pretty big variety. For example, for the dragon side, you got, fire, light, dark, iron, wind, poison, lightning. For demon and devil, you pretty much only have ice. For god slayers, you only have wind, lightning, and fire. I will say most of these top caster magics, they're all pretty iconic, so I'm going to probably say they're iconic quite a lot. I will say most of these top caster magics, they're all pretty iconic, so I'm going to probably say they're iconic quite a lot. Going on to another very famous caster magic, which is Maker Magic. Probably the most known one would be Ice Make Magic, which I presume you can do Maker Magic in other elements as well. But the one that we see the most is the Ice Make Magic, which is primarily used by Gray, Leon, Ur, Ultir, even though Ultir does use Archetyme, but like she knows it. But this is, again, another very, very strong caster magic where, like, Gray and the other ice makers, and with, like, hand gestures and stuff, they'll make ice out of, like, thin air. Which Gray is showing, like, just how powerful this magic can be. And Ur, stopping Deliora with it. We're going to go on to the fairy spells, which in this kind of category is the Fairy Law, Fairy Glitter, and Fairy Sphere. A few of these you can probably do without being in Fairy Tail, and that would be like Law, because like Grimoire Heart uses it at one point. Even Makarov uses it without just saying Fairy Law, he just says Law. So I presume you could make a version of this spell, any of these spells, if you're not in Fairy Tail. But it would just be a version of it, but the more powerful versions are the Fairy Tail versions, which some of these are pretty insane, like Law, basically deeming whoever is your enemy to like immediately die. That's a pretty OP ability. Fairy Glitter, mainly shown off by Kana. A few of the times it's been a dud, but it's pretty insane, like the powering up of it, and if it actually hit you, you'd probably die as well. And Fairy Sphere, main showcase on Tenro Island. That would be with Acnologia, and that was a pretty advanced showing of like a defensive spell, like keeping everyone protected on that island and the like island itself protected. Now we're getting on to funner ones for caster magic types. Heavenly Body Magic, which is mainly shown off by Jalal, which I wonder if in a way this has any connection to like celestial magic, because most of the time when he does his like heavenly body magic stuff, it has to do with like constellations. When he does like Grand Chariot, it has like the Big Dipper show up, so it's like stars and constellations. Besides Natsu having like plot armor when he was fighting Jalal, like Jalal would have just straight up killed him because he was zooming mega fast with the heavenly body magic. Besides Natsu getting amped up by Dragon Force, Jalal would have easily killed him. Mega buffs his speed to like where he is like light speed. He has like mega big attacks, for example, again, Grand Chariot, to where you literally make the stars from the sky like freaking rain down on you like meteors. So this is a very strong magic. And if we're going to talk about Jalal, we got to go to immediately his best girl, and that being Urza and her REQUIP magic, which a lot of people got mad at me for putting it in the holder magic thing, but it's like she has it as weapons and she like infuses them to have like attributes. So that is a physical item that has magic in it. So it kind of meets the holder requirements, but she also meets the caster requirements. I could see how I thought at least it was a holder magic because she does have the items, but she does draw like the weapons from herself. I mean, she has her own little like dimension that she stores her armor and weapons in, but she does like pull them practically out of herself. I mean, do I really have to say much about REQUIP? Urza is one of the most OP women in this series. Most of her attacks are broken and or slash if she's completely broken. Like, REQUIP magic is pretty busted at times, but it's mainly due to Urza herself being pretty busted. Going on to another busted bunch who is rivals with Urza, that would be the Strauss siblings, and their takeover magic for the three of them would be Animal, Beast, and Demon Soul, which probably the most powerful of the three being the Demon Soul. And I'd say honestly the next strongest would probably be Beast Soul for Elfman, and probably the weakest of the bunch being Animal Soul, and that would be Lizana. But all three of them together, their accomplishments using like the soul transformation magic. Mira's, for example, is probably the most notable. Like, she can use curse magic in the demon soul forms that she has, mainly like the ones that she took from Tartaros. Like, some of the forms she took from Tartaros are pretty busted, like being able to command people to like do stuff with that like macro curse. I will say for this one, you can definitely buff it up all the time, because like you go start of the series, Mira and like Elfman pretty much only had like one form. Well, then by the end they have like multiple forms that they can pull, because they like eat or absorb whatever animal or demon that they defeat. Very similar to Urza, and basically makes a REQUIP that they can pull out at any time. And we're saving the best for last, that being Ultir's Arc of Time magic. She can mess with, this one's pretty broken because she can mess with the like time on an item, but she can't do it on a real person. So like ice, she could either have it be like at a time when it was actually ice, or she could turn it back in time to where it was water or steam. She can do that with rocks as well, to where they're a rock, but then like she puts them forward in future and then it's sand now. So she really has like a lot of freedom to mess with the time of objects. And even the one downside of you can't control a person, you can still mess with the environment around them to like really mess it up. When she was fighting Gray, all his ice that he was using against her, she just turned it to water, or like so that it would never even hit her. It wasn't until he mixed his own blood in it that she finally couldn't control it. I will say Gray took a lot of beatings to get to that point of where, oh, I'm going to mix my blood with the ice, to where I feel most people that she'd be fighting probably would not have survived up until that point, or even had the idea to mix their blood with their magic, which who knows if that would be even capable of doing it. Which, thinking of it, I bet you she could not control the time on Lucy's celestial spirits, because they're all living beings. So I bet you Lucy could have a decent chance at taking an ult here. That's probably a hot take. So what are your guys' favorite caster magics? I know I didn't cover a lot of them. If you like pull up a list of every caster magic within Fairy Tail, like it's a big list. There's a lot to cover. So in the future, I will try and cover as much as I can of caster magics. This is just like a small sampling, like what is it? And just kind of like some highlights of what are some of the best ones in this category. Probably now, since I kind of covered the two broad ones of holder and caster magics, I'm going to go more in depth on magics now. Probably one of the first ones I'll maybe do is either Dragon Slayer magic or curses. So let me know what one you want in the comments, or any other videos that you guys like or want to talk about other caster magics. Leave in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and this is Draco, signing out.